The more you know, the more ways you can transform ingredients and the more ways you can produce interesting drinks.
I think the cooks and the bartender now are more technical than before. It's understand all the process in what we do.
Evidentemente la tecnología nos ayuda a hacer las cosas mucho más eficientes.
Pero no es solo tecnología, en realidad hay una ciencia detrás.
But if you want to be good at your job, I do think it's helpful for people to understand certain things about the way drinks work, no matter what kind of drinks you make.
My name is Don Lee, and I am now a consultant and educator when it comes to all things cocktail and spirits.
I'm Dave Arnold, and I kind of do a lot of things. Don and I used to have a bar in New York called Existing Conditions. I'm an author in the kind of cocktail and food space. I started a food museum called Museum of Food and Drink. I design restaurant and bar equipment. I'm all over the map. I first met Don at Tales of the Cocktail, which is, the kind of industry Megillah that everybody goes to. We were having an argument on one of those balconies about juice. What was the fastest way to juice? What was the best juice?
I would say that Dave and I have a very different approach when it comes to thinking about a lot of these questions in the cocktail world, primarily because we didn't come from the cocktail world. I came with no knowledge, literally. I was a computer programmer working for a finance company, just on the internet, interested in food and drinks, went to bars, found it delicious, started talking to the bartenders. I said, well, why do you do that? And they said, well, the last guy told me to do it this way, or this book told me to do it this way. Well, how do scientists think about this? Was just kind of the way that I thought about the world already. And so it was this outsider approach to asking these questions that I found that most people in the industry weren't asking, and then trying to figure it out for myself.
I used to work at the French Culinary Institute as the director of culinary technology. And while I was tasked with coming up with culinary ideas, I spent a lot of my time coming up with bar ideas. Carbonation, all kinds of clarification, centrifugation, use of liquid nitrogen, including nitro muddling, milk washing as a technique for shaking cocktails as opposed to punch. Please, let's not argue about it. And what else? Rapid infusion with nitrous, certain vacuum uses.
I would say that I'm primarily known for doing lots of infusions. Specifically, fat washing is probably the technique that I popularized. Bacon-infused bourbon will probably follow me to the grave. But it really is more the probably asking these questions and going through ridiculous lengths to find the answers, such as what is a dash? We all use the term. And so I was the crazy person who dashed an entire bottle of Angostura bitters 3 times from completely full to completely empty, videotaped it, recorded what each dash was to find out what a dash was. So less known for specific techniques and more known for teaching basics and asking these kinds of questions.
If you're gonna say, should people think like us? Only if you want to.
And at the end of the day, the goal should be to produce something that you're interested in. But when it comes to technique and technology, certainly learn as much as you can. The toolbox is your knowledge. Whatever you have in your toolbox, it gives you the ability to do more things. So the more you know, the more options you have.
For me, when I create Carnaval, part of the focus was the guarantee of all the process of the cocktail. So I consider to myself a very technical guy when we talk about bar. My name is Aaron Diaz. I am the cocktail chef of Carnaval in Lima, Peru. We are focused on the little details, how many times the second is stirring a cocktail, or how many times is shaking, and also the sound of the shake, and also if the shaking is outside, freezing. So I can know if the cocktail needs less shake or little more. So probably we are obsessed with the techniques. It's understand all the process in what we do in all the areas in Carnival, So this is the station number 4. They usually prepare cocktail are muddling and shaking. This is station number 4. The third using gin, scotch, and bourbon. The 70% of the classic cocktails are making this. This is the station number 2. I prepare bill and stirring cocktail. So they don't shake in nothing. It's about bill and stir techniques. And now I will show you the first one, and we call the beast. The Beast is a huge station because they prepare different cocktail teams, so they combine techniques. I moved to Chicago for work at the Avery. For me, be bartender at the Avery changed my life. You need to be very perfectly with all you move when you're making cocktails, no? Only the sound of the shaking and when you throw the ice was the only sounds allowed. And when you make something wrong or full, all the people see like, what happened with you? You say, oh, sorry. So I learned a lot. Not only about I make cocktails, it's about very precisely in all details.
Las técnicas más difíciles de conocer son las que se están perdiendo. Las técnicas que utilizamos en realidad son técnicas sencillas de cocina para tratar de preservar mucho el sabor real del producto. Mi nombre es Gabriela León, soy chef y copropietaria en Lady B Bar, ubicado en Lima.
Mi nombre es Alonso Palomino, oriundo de Lima, Perú. Soy copropietario y encargado de las bebidas en Lady B.
En Lady B nos inspiramos mucho en la tradición y en todo lo que ha dejado nuestro legado.
Entonces, lo que buscamos hacer también es una reinterpretación. El Perú es un resultado de un mix cultural bastante fuerte y hoy se trata de rescatar también mucha tradición, lo que se encuentra en diferentes partes del país.
Son esas técnicas que para encontrarlas, como comentamos, tienes que viajar y si es que en realidad le caes bien a la comunidad, a las personas, te van a brindar y te van a enseñar a cómo se hacía realmente antes, porque no hay libros. Hay muchas técnicas que ya se han ido perdiendo. Una historia, la gente te cuente cómo hacían nuestros ancestros para preservar, para fermentar, para guardar muchos insumos durante largas temporadas. Esas para mí son las técnicas mucho más difíciles de conseguir información.
My advice for you is practice with these new tools and equipment, is understand all the process in what we do. But for us, for create a cocktail, you need to understand first the ingredients. Okay guys, come with me to the market, please. It's about using our proven ingredients and share to the world. The name in Spanish is cucumber too, but it's not the same cucumber for a salad. But this is little sweet, but you never eat the heart because it's spiked. This is tumbo, it's like a passion fruit, but little note of sweetness. This is sanki. Sanki was part of the diet of the Incas. The Incas use it for running big kilometers per day. It's like a cactus with aloe vera texture. Easy, right?
Creo que en los últimos años hay mucho más interés en armonizar la barra con la cocina.
Bueno, ese ejercicio de Lady Bill es la primera vez que nos encuentra trabajando juntos ya desde el punto de vista de chef como de bartender, y lo que buscamos es tener esta sinergia en todo momento de ambas áreas.
Hay muchas técnicas aplicadas netamente al bar y a los líquidos que son sumamente importantes ahora en nuestra cocina, ¿no? Yo creo que igual en la gastronomía todo va evolucionando. Las experiencias siempre van a querer ir creciendo, ¿no? Se comenzó por los vinos, se comenzó por la cocina, por la estética, y algo que acompaña muy bien es la coctelería, ¿no? Entonces, muchos chefs se están interesando mucho en poder tener una alianza o poder trabajar directamente con bartenders.
Y Perú sí está sucediendo algo importante en términos de gastronomía. Sin embargo, necesitamos seguir avanzando para que esto no sea algo pasajero. Y sea cocina, bar, cocina, lo importante es mantener el producto como protagonista.
Where are you getting your information from, and then how do you change that information? Not just the physical people that you're talking to, and why it's important to then, I think, cite that, or to say where you got an idea, or what you were reading, or who you're talking to, is because it gives whoever is learning from you more information about where it came from and how they can further their own research. So not only does it make you, I think, stupider to try to pretend that you've come up with everything in a vacuum, I think it makes you a worse person, you know what I mean? I think it's also unhelpful for the people that you're teaching.
For me, and I think for you as well, Dave, when it comes to creating drinks, it is this act of creativity. And it's something that I don't really see too much today anymore. But 20 years ago in New York, when the community was much smaller, you would go to a bar and there was a dialogue that was happening between bartenders, between bars, where someone would produce a drink, and then a few months later, someone would produce another drink, and it was like, I see how you took this idea that somebody else started with, and then you've made this your way, your drink, and I can, even if the creator of the drink didn't make me the drink, if I went to another bar and I had a new drink that I hadn't tasted before, I'm like, oh, did Phil Ward make this drink? Because this tastes like a Phil Ward drink. And it was very clear who was making these kinds of drinks. I think part of the problem for a lot of folks these days is that you're competing with something that doesn't really exist. You're competing with this thing you see on the internet, which isn't the thing you've tasted. It's only a picture you've seen, and it's a story that somebody's told about how they did a thing. You have no idea if that's actually good. So the rational thing to do would be to actually try to reproduce it, see if it is actually good, and then decide if you want to do something similar or not. But often they don't take that step. And this leads to kind of this like larger question of how do you then come up with a drink? How do you create something new? Why is this a drink that you created? And why is it that you're the only person who could have created this? And that's the thing I want to see when I taste the cocktail.